had a lock on that gate, is that correct?
Just before dawn, police and Border Force officers are preparing for a major drug bust.
This is serious organised crime doing this. This is worth a lot of money to criminal enterprises.
A short drive away is one of the suspected properties in the Gold Coast hinterland. A 7:30 crew has been invited to observe. It's not a hard drug they're targeting, in fact it's sold legally. But there's big money to be made in illicit tobacco.
We'll allege this is one syndicate's operation and that they have a fairly extensive distribution network here in southeast Queensland.
Behind this fence is one of 11 properties being raided on the Gold Coast and northern New South Wales as part of Operation Harvest Home. Shortly after the raid, a van arrives with what's believed to be a fresh delivery. The driver is questioned but not charged.
At the moment, we've seized approximately 250,000 cigarette sticks. In addition, we found around $1 million across a number of premises. And then we've referred a number of products to state authorities as well for seizure.
At the end of the day, these estimates skyrocket. Nearly 3 million cigarettes, 400 kilos of loose tobacco and illicit nicotine vapes worth more than $5 million.
Have we disrupted the syndicate? I think we have, but we can't stop. We just need to keep going at these groups, including their offshore networks, to shut it down.
I think we need to continually be vigilant given the high amounts of income and revenue for the Australian community at stake, but also the level of harm that we see in the community, that we continue to see in the community as a result of tobacco use.
Cigarettes in Australia are taxed heavily to stop people smoking. Without incurring these taxes, illicit tobacco is often much cheaper.
So anything that interferes with the price of tobacco products has the impact to actually keep people addicted to tobacco for longer.
And Border Force says the fact that tobacco can also be a legal drug is immaterial.
From our perspective, it's the fact that they're not paying duty on those cigarettes when they're bought across the border, they're not paying the tax that is owed, and they're making a profit. These are organised crime groups that are profiting from the illegal sale of illicit tobacco.
Some illicit tobacco, or chop as it's often called, is grown locally. The majority is smuggled in from overseas.
Primarily in areas like China and Malaysia, but also from the Middle East. And then it's distributed domestically, so it's produced lawfully in those countries where it's not an offence to sell tobacco in that way, and then it's smuggled into the country.
The illicit tobacco market in Australia is not only growing, it's also becoming more sophisticated. Repacking tobacco in empty cigarette boxes to make the product look more legitimate.
The Australian Border Force has started to see suspected imports from criminal organisations of empty plain packaging being imported into Australia and packed on shore with illegally grown tobacco.
To me, that probably points to some more organisation and recognition of the potentially high financial gains that are at stake.
Criminal syndicates recently found a loophole that made it perfectly legal to import empty cigarette packets, provided they carry the Quitline logo.
Just stop smoking before it's too late, because it will get you.
But the logo is subject to copyright law, and the copyright owner, the Cancer Council of Victoria, last month lodged a legal objection notice that effectively closed the loophole down.
When we found out about this, it certainly pointed to the level of sophistication that's now involved and the lengths that we see elements are prepared to go to subvert Australia's very strong anti-smoking laws.
Back on the Gold Coast, officers seized more illicit product in this storage building. It's one of 3 allegedly being used by the syndicate for product drops. Border Force, along with state and federal police, Queensland Health and the Therapeutic Goods Administration, are now preparing to go to court.
Now we will go through all the evidence that we've seized and we'll look to preferred charges and a brief evidence.
Australia has really set the world standard in terms of reducing harms from tobacco products. So there's a lot at stake here for the Australian community.